One woman who was far ahead of her time was Motorcycle Mary, or Mary McGee. Back in the 1960s and 70s, she was the first woman to drive motorbikes, win the Baja 100,000 alone, as well as win many championships in her career. She found times of helplessness with women being dashed out of motorsport, considered unfit for the job, or completely in the wrong place. In the midst of defeat, she stayed determined and was able to capture a wonderful career. Her ambition is evidenced in the quotation by Ulysses S. Grant, in which he stated, "In every battle there comes a time when both sides consider themselves beaten, but then he who continues the attack wins." What he's trying to say is that even though a battle might be lost, it's the one individual with the perseverance to continue that is the greatest victor. Today, let's interpret this by saying that perseverance will lead to victory. We need to agree with this for two reasons. The first being, perseverance battles helplessness, and perseverance drives internal purpose. The first reason why perseverance battles helplessness, the first reason why perseverance leads to victories is because it drives against helplessness. We'll see through Lewis Hamilton's move from Mercedes to Ferrari, as well as David Calhoun's triumphant end of his Boeing career. Lewis Hamilton is the greatest F1 driver to ever exist, getting 8 world championships with Mercedes over his past 12 years with the team. But he found a moment of helplessness where he started to give up after the team's car, year after year, 2021 through 2024, was horrendous. But he was able to understand that his perseverance internally founded a move to Ferrari to race in red for the end of his career. That move allowed him to continue to feel invigorated and actually score points in last night's Australian Grand Prix. And at the end of David Calhoun's turbulent Boeing career, his perseverance in trying to fix the company drove his success in the public eye. We saw the January 2024 crisis of Boeing, and David Calhoun took accountability with the company, fixing quality control engineers as well as procedures, and showing them that they need to not be helpless, but instead try to drive themselves to victory with fixing the airline giant that was once one of the most celebrated aspects of this country. Perseverance battles helplessness. And in the case of Lewis Hamilton and both David Calhoun, in the midst of turmoil, they were able to pull a great positive. The second reason why perseverance leads to victory is because perseverance drives internal purpose. And we'll see it through 2 examples of Larry David's SNL career and the legendary F1 designer Adrian Newey. Larry David, in his early SNL career, was absolutely hated to the point where he went into his boss's office one day and said, "I am done. I feel like I have no purpose here." But after, with Jerry Seinfeld, he was able to create the famous show Seinfeld, and then create his own name for himself in Curb Your Enthusiasm. We celebrate Larry David because he was able to find purpose in his career that he thought was over. The perseverance in himself to continue to find a new job as well as find a new niche in acting was very beneficial to him. And Adrian Newey is one of the most famous F1 designers, where most world championships, he has about 12, were won because of his engineering. It's his internal purpose a while ago, toward the end of his Red Bull career, where he was sick of the team, with Christian Horner coming under fire because of allegations of sexual misconduct in the workplace. That led him to realize that he needs to find his own purpose again as a legendary F1 designer and join forces with the Aston Martin Formula One team, one of the greatest names in both automotive racing and sports cars. Adrian Newey was able to find his niche, continue to grow in the sport of Formula One, and create cars that could lead to championships. Through the examples of Larry David on SNL and Adrian Newey, perseverance in ourselves drives our own individual purpose. Let's return back to the quotation. Ulysses S. Grant told us insightfully, "In every battle there comes a time when both sides consider themselves beaten. Then he who continues the attack wins." Grant is trying to say that even in the midst of loss, if you can find perseverance, you're going to be the greatest victor. And today that was our interpretation, that perseverance leads to wonderful victory, as we've seen through it battles helplessness and it drives purpose. Mary McGee passed away a few months ago, but her legacy will never be forgotten in motorsport as the legendary woman who fought against defeat.